Hi, this is Chris from Formden, and I'm going to show you how you can change the color and glow of a field in a Bootstrap form when it's focused. Okay, so to get started, go to Formden.com and click on our form builder. And you can see for a default form, let's just get rid of all the fields except for email, just to simplify things. And if we click on a preview, you can notice that when you focus on a field, it changes color to blue and it gets this drop shadow. And it's a pretty clean modern look, but you may have a theme on your site or the design of your site really might not be compatible with this. So for example, you notice here our submit button is flat, but we have this kind of drop shadow, and those really don't go together. Or maybe you have a submit button that is not blue, but instead the submit button is green, in which case maybe you don't like the blue and green. Maybe you'd prefer to have a focus color of green, and maybe we could drop that drop shadow. So this is really easy to do using the Bootstrap form builder. All you need to do is click on settings and come down to input, focus, color, and glow, and we want to change this to green. So first, let's get the exact green that we need to change it to. So if we use inspect element, we can use Chrome tools, and we can see that the green is actually this color. So just go ahead and copy that. We can exit out, come down here, and we can just paste in the color. And you can see that now we have a green input glow. So really easy. We can also remove the glow if we'd like. And there you have it. So what's happened is the Bootstrap form builder has gone into the code and it's added some unique inline CSS to change the color to that color that we want. All right. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is show you exactly what's happening in the CSS and how you can customize it further. So if you just want to take your form and make it using the form builder, copy it, paste it into your website, you're good to go. But if you want to learn a little bit more about what's happening in the CSS itself, go ahead and save this form, set up processing. You can register for free for one form. And after we logged in, okay, so now that you've logged in, you'll notice that we've imported the form into the form builder. So we're working on the same form, but now it's on your account. All right, and in the code section, you can see exactly what the form builder is doing. Okay, it's built the form for you using Bootstrap form builder or form syntax, and all of the changes you made in the settings to change the look and feel of your form are resulting in inline CSS. So the Bootstrap form builder is just adding some CSS to change the look and feel of your form. In this case, we've changed the border color upon focus and remove that drop shadow. So how do we do that? We can see that in the code. So go ahead and copy this code or download it, open it up in a text editor, and you can see what's happening. So this is our long thing of Bootstrap inline CSS, and I've pulled out the 2 lines that have been added. What we've done is every single element in Bootstrap that's in a form, every form field is controlled by the form control class. So if you go down here, this is our input for email. It has the form control class, and we can override the Bootstrap default by saying form control focus, and we give it a border color, and we give it a of green, and we give it a box shadow of none, and that overrides it. Okay, so it's really quite simple. One thing to note is in this case, we've set a box shadow of none. If instead we've kept the box shadow or the border color of green in the form builder, what you'll notice is that we're going to end up with different values here for the WebKit box shadow, and it's going to be a green mix between kind of greenish black instead of being none. So if we're to go back to the form builder and add the glow back, now we have the glow, you can see what's happened here in this CSS is, if I move all the way over, we have a box shadow that has a RBGA value. So this is kind of as an opacity. So the form builder is automatically creating this kind of mixed color for the box shadow that kind of has a kind of a blackish, grayish look to it. So it does that for you automatically. So if you do like the look of the shadow, you just want a different color, you can use the form builder to kind of get those color values that you need. And then you can go and paste them in here and here. Okay, so that the first line is really easy to understand. The second line is a little more complicated. And what's happening here is when you have a Bootstrap form and you submit it, it's going to be validated. And if there's an error, what happens is the has error is going to be, class is going to be given to the parent of the form field that has an error. So if we go back here and let's switch it back to the no glow, we can see how Formden deals with validation. Because this Formden.javascript is on the page and we have an account, we can use Formden to validate this field. So just click on processing. I've gone ahead and done this, but import the initial values in so Bootstrap knows what to expect in the form to look like. We're going to have an email that's required. I'm not storing any of these responses or emailing them. It's just for testing. If we go back to the builder now and go to preview to test, if we submit the form, this field is required. Okay, and what you notice is you click on the form and it doesn't have that drop shadow, and that's what we want. But we have to add that second line to keep the drop shadow from coming back. And you can see this if we use the Chrome tools here and we inspect this element and we force a state, pretend like we are hovering over it or focusing on it, excuse me. You can see this is what we're doing. We're saying, hey, we don't want there to be a shadow. This is what we've put in our code, in our CSS. But if we were to remove that, if it didn't exist, you see that Bootstrap itself is saying, hey, there should be a box shadow when we have an error. And that's what should happen by default. We don't want that to happen though. So the second line is a condition in case you're validating the field, so that the same look you get when you're not validating is the look you get when you're validating. So it's kind of a long-winded explanation to say you really want to add the second line if you're using validation from Formden, or if you're doing validation on your own and you're adding the has error class, because otherwise has error is going to say, hey, we're going to do shadow whether you like it or not. Okay. All right, so that's really all there is to it. One final thing I want to note is we're using the Bootstrap ISO class because we're using an isolated version of Bootstrap, a special version of Bootstrap that has appended this class to all of the CSS rules. Okay, and we have a blog post about that. You can check that out if you're interested. But if you're just doing this on your own, you can remove this Bootstrap ISO, and everything's going to work. It doesn't matter that it's there. So if we were to replace this Bootstrap ISO.css here with a CDN for just a typical Bootstrap, so this is its own web page, that would be just fine, and these rules are going to continue to work. Okay, so the tutorial you can find in the notes to this video also shows you how to go ahead and to change the border. We could easily, instead of just controlling focus, we could have form control that's not involved for a focused element. And using that, it's easy to change border width. Instead of 1 pixel, we can make it 2 pixels. And we could also change the border color. We can make, let's say, green, for example. And this is just going to give all of our form elements that color, even if they're not focused. So I missed an N there. Okay, so it'd be very easy to change. So I hope this shows you how to, what's going on behind the scenes with this form control focus, and how you can use the form builder to quickly create CSS, and then you can edit to make changes as you see fit. And that's really what we're trying to do at Formden, is really make it easy to do the things that are kind of mundane, take a lot of time. So you can easily create forms, and we also help with the processing, but we still want to give you control of the code. So you can change any code you want on the form itself, and as long as the individual elements have a name that we see in the spreadsheet on the processing tab, we're going to be able to validate fields for you. But even if you don't want to use validation, there's still a lot of value here. So thanks for checking out this video.